Women crushing it Wednesday, they feeling undefeated. Queens of the ring like Christine Miz. If you get in the ring with the steaming, you might catch a beating. Just tune in, you gon' have to see it. Stand up if you with us, if not, they be seated. You seen them in every arena. Eddie and Nika, who really got something to fight for. Everybody saying they're the GOAT, who the one to slay the Chupacabra. Your favorite girls.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Women Crushing It Wednesday. I got my girls in the house, Crystal and Nika. How y'all doing, ladies?
Very good.
Yes, I missed y'all.
Missed you too.
Yeah.
You are in Colorado still. Yes.
I'm in Colorado. Yes, I'm in Colorado. Working. But it's all good. I'm happy. This is my second home. So I'm like, yay! We're doing good. We're having fun. So before we get started, let's do a shout out to our sponsors, Kush with a C, that does our intro, and of course, Hispanics Causing Panic, and they're on every Monday and Wednesday. So they were on today. They had a show on today. So shout out to them, and of course, our girls. And we have a special guest today. I'm so excited. We've had her on before, Sportsnista. Yeah. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, she was at the Canelo fight.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello. Yes, I was at the Canelo fight. Cinnamon. Look, I'm sitting on like $7. Let me take one off.
Okay, there you go. No, I get it. I get it. Trust me, I do the same thing. That was 6 is perfect. So let's talk about that. You were at the fight. What was the energy like?
So that's a great question. Normally a Canelo fight week in September is during Mexican Independence Day weekend. And so you have all the hype of all the mariachi bands and the flags and the whole swag. And it really wasn't the case. It was kind of like a polite Canelo fight week. It was a polite environment. People were definitely happy to see them. We had some sections that were live, but it was not sold out. Not even close. There was a whole ass section that was blocked off.
Oh,
so,
really?
Wow.
And then there were empty seats. Like if you check my Twitter, like I have some pans of that audience, and it was rare to see that of kind of like this new modern era, I guess, of Canelo, to see kind of those many empty seats there. And I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that they did not go on Mexican Independence Day weekend.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Did you think that was the reason, or was it because of the opposition? So you believe that it was because of the date?
It was both. I mean, Canelo was such a heavy favorite in that fight. Boxing tickets ain't cheap no more to get in the arena. I think the lowest price ticket was $179, and it's like the worst seat in the house to actually get that. So you got to spend, like $350 to like be comfortable in T-Mobile. And, I just think that all of those things together definitely impacted the arena energy and the amount of the live gate. You notice some live gate numbers ain't come out.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, that's interesting. Crystal, what were your thoughts? I mean, were you excited whenever, obviously we watched it, we paid for it and all that good stuff, but were you like as excited as some of the events that you've watched on pay-per-view?
Well, first of all, let me be honest. I do watch all of the Canelo fights, right? But I can't say I'm like a stellar fan. This is not a lad that I follow. This is not a lad that I buy a ringside ticket to. Why? I don't know. Perhaps of the price. I don't feel like it's worth the price that you pay for those. He do have some excellent ring walks, and I know there's a lot of controversy over the last one this last week. Santa Fe Clan is not everyone's favorite, but let me tell you, in the Mexico right now, currently speaking, this lad is making waves, large waves. Even the the American Mexicans, they love this lad.
Yeah.
He
That's
was
true.
there. He performed in the Las Vegas the night before.
Oh, my
Go ahead
daughter
and spit.
loves him. Yeah, he's I think he's awesome too. But yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know nothing about him, but I
Neither
tell
do
you
I.
what, it was fire. And that was the best ring, the best
That's what I
round
thought.
of the whole fight was the ring walk.
Yes, that is
I love
true.
it. I think so too. And I'll just interject really quickly. So the actual main singer was Juan Saucedo, and he passed away in September. So it was kind of a tribute to him as well. So I could see
Right.
Canelo doing that. And yeah, that song Por Mi Mexico is like so hot right now.
Yeah.
You know, and the Santa Fe Clan, they're awesome. I think they're so talented. Nika, what did you think when you heard the criticism? Did you like the ring walk?
I mean, I wasn't like blown away by it or anything
Right.
like that, but it wasn't a bad ring walk.
Right.
I'm a Canelo fan, so you know whatever he did, he could have came out there just like snapping his fingers, and I would have been like, ah, you know, like Canelo, you know. So
Right. No, that's true. I said the same thing.
I don't really like look into that because the only thing I don't like is when a fighter comes out with like a dramatic and over the top entrance and then they lose the fight. Like I feel like you you know, so
Yeah, you're right. No, that's true. It's like Canelo is Canelo. It's like I'm kind of like Crystal. Like I've never been a total fanatic, but I do recognize his talent and the things that he's done. So right now he can walk out with a tuba player or an orchestra or a high school band. I mean, he can do anything, a flute player, and he can do that. Like he's the guy. So, but I liked it.
Many of the audience perhaps do not know the lad that walked out with Jesus Ramos.
Mhm.
Again, very respected amongst the Mexico culture.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely
so
right.
he was murdered last month, is what it says. HLD.
Yes,
the song just came out 2 months, a summer banger, but Lefty was just murdered last month. Oh wow.
Okay, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, Lefty, that's right. Yeah, Juan Lefty. Yeah, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And I do think they were talented. I mean, I'd heard the song before a few times because my daughter is just like a huge fan. Teresa, actually the one who does our art, you know, in our videos at time to time, and she's like crazy about them. So I had heard them before at her house. So I thought it was good. And you know what? But this is like the bottom line. Whether we liked it or not,
it doesn't change what happens in the fight.
It doesn't change exactly. And not only that, I'm just going to touch on this for 1 second, was people were like, oh my God, but he was talking about cocaine and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? How many rappers are talking about cocaine, marijuana, ass, and everything else? And we're like shocked because they said cocaine. Like, come on, y'all. Seriously.
They gotta find something bad to say about the man. You know?
Absolutely.
That's very petty.
I just want to like kind of go back a little bit and get y'all's take because I had actually picked Barrientos to win at first, and I should always go with my first mind. And then I started like looking at film again and like thinking, and I was like, you know what, maybe Ugas can outbox him. And I was wrong. So I should have stuck to my first, thought. Sportsnista, who did you have? And did the guy you picked win?
Yeah, I picked Barrios. I just felt like, listen, a guy can get old in a round. And I really just felt like we were starting to see that with Ugas. And I was not convinced that eye was going to hold up. And so I definitely picked Barrios because of that. I feel really bad for him, though. It's just like, why wasn't that fight stopped? I mean, this man took now damage he's going to carry for the rest of his life. He was not going to win that fight.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something else I want to touch on as well. Crystal, before we go there, did you pick the right guy or did you care about this match?
I was thinking this would be a great matchup. They do put on a show at the first few rounds. It was a good competitive fight, and then Barrios just take it over, and not unexpected. So I thought it was a great fight. I do agree that it could have been stopped prior to when it was. I hate to see Ugas take that punishment. At this point, he will probably choose to hang them up, so that we
Hopefully.
don't. Right, but respectfully, right? Because he do have a lot of heart. He have a lot of heart, and he bring it to the ring, and I not surprised, but I'm still not impressed by Barrios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. What about you, Nika? Did you have a winner in this, or did you?
Yeah, I knew Barrio was gonna win because my game plan would have been in there and just aim for that eye, which I think he did. So I mean, I feel bad for Ugas because I do like him as a fighter, and I wish that he could probably fight a little bit more and make some more money, but I don't think it's safe for him. That eye, I don't know how, if the picture was a recent picture, but the picture that I just saw that was posted on social media is his eye looked bad again, looked like the last time. So I don't think he can move forward like that, because every time somebody goes in there, they're gonna
clear him.
Yeah,
What commission?
yeah, and every boxer he goes in there with now, from now on, they're gonna be aiming right for that
Absolutely.
bullseye.
Absolutely.
So you gotta think about his health.
And I was thinking, I was like, once it started swelling, I was like, I think his orbital might be broken again. But like y'all all stated, like I would have told my boxer the same thing, aim for that eye, because it can't be 100% after the beating, he took with Spence on that eye. But I also like agree with all of you. Like, it's like, whose responsibility is it? Was it the doctors, the refs, or the corners? Nika, what do you think? Like, where should it have stopped?
It should have stopped in his corner, because they see it every time he goes to the corner. They're wiping it, they're doing everything, they can see it, and you are ultimately responsible to help your fighter come out with the best health in a fight, coming out of a fight. In my opinion, that's part of your job, to make sure that they come out as healthy as they can.
Right.
Try to concern some of their well-being, but everybody does have a part in it. But
yeah,
I feel like your team should want you to be at your best at all times, so they should have stopped it. But it should have been a ref, could have been a doctor, it could have been the corner. There's so many people who could have stopped it, but I feel like ultimately I would have won, because if you're a fighter, he probably told his corner, don't stop.
Yeah, you want to keep going.
Don't
I mean, that's your job.
I say stop it, so it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, they're warriors.
Yeah, so but I just know he don't need nobody else banging on that eye like that no more. So.
No, he doesn't. Sportsnista, do you agree? Should it have been the corner, or should it have been when the doctor saw it, or the ref? I mean, the ref's the one.
Well, I think ultimately the person who is most at fault is the doctor. They are the professional in there, and that is their actual job, is to make sure that they are stopping a fight when the fighter is in jeopardy, and beyond in jeopardy. And the injury that he sustained was around the 6th round of the fight. So he went the back half of the fight in serious jeopardy after that. The corner has an emotional connection, but they didn't go to school for this. These doctors actually have degrees, and they take an oath. And the Nevada Athletic Commission is one of the better athletic commissions in boxing. And I mean, that's some shit you would see in Florida.
Right. Or in Louisiana. No offense, Louisiana.
But not in Nevada. So it was really disappointing to see. Like, they seriously looked in this man's face and was like, nah.
Right. As his eye was shut. Right.
Yeah, right. His eye was shut. What is we doing?
Exactly. He couldn't see. Crystal, do you agree with Nika and Sportsnista, or do you have a different opinion?
No, I definitely agree. The doctor should have stopped it. But, we've seen worse. So there's a fine line there. For me, I tend to be a little emotional. I want to see the lad to be able to fight again.
Yeah.
That is not the same for everybody's. And again, the corner is very emotional because they have investment. They want to win as much as the fighter want to win. So I agree with Sportsnista. The doctor have to stop it if the doctor feel as though they should not continue. Do the doctor know the history would be my question.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so. And so for me, I blame every single, all three. Like I blame the corner, number one, because something that I truly believe in is if your corner does not love you like a parent, then they don't need to be in your corner because you're in a life or death a sport. So if your corner doesn't love you like they love their own son, they don't need to be there. That's number one. So I would not let my son continue to take a beating. That's number one. Number two, the doctor, like Sportsnista said, takes an oath. Okay. Me, I have no medical background. I've seen broken orbitals before, and I truly believe that that's what it was. And then the doctor is going to ask the referee if he thinks that he can continue. And so he trusts the referee's knowledge of the injury, whether he can go on or not. Okay, so the doctor, and then the referee, well, you know what? Look, I don't know the referee, and I might be speculating, but this is a huge stage for him. Okay, so why not let the show continue? I mean, really, who cares? So they're all three guilty, in my opinion.
That's an interesting point you bring up about the corner loving you. And there was a lot of controversy when Kenny Porter stopped that fight, when Sean was fighting Terrence. And it was clear to Kenny, like, you're just going to continue to take an ass whooping in here. You're not going to win this fight.
But what about...
And that's real love.
What about Gabriel Flores's father? I feel like he doesn't stop his
son. Oh my God. Great point. Great point.
He takes way too long. He doesn't.
No, you're right. And he shouldn't be there either. And I'm gonna get shit for this, but he shouldn't be there either because you know what? The thing is this. In my opinion, like I said, I would not let my son continue to get his ass beat and possibly lose his eye or whatever. That's me. And then there are other parents that have this, and I'm not saying it's Gabe Flores, but there's some that have this macho, and I could, oh my God, stories I could tell you.
Because that's what I saw. I saw the father being too machismo, and he wouldn't stop the fight because he was thinking about his own ego.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So it's so hard. It just depends, I guess, on the personality. And we know some of those fathers,
But that's why I applaud what Kenny did, even though a lot of people were upset with it. Like, he made the right decision for his son, who happened to be the fighter that night.
Right. He may not be a commentator or have a podcast if his father had let it continue.
He has, kids. He needs to be a father too. Like, he got his money.
Exactly. No, I totally agree.
Yes, I guess it just depends on the character or like the person, because you see how he has two different fathers.
You're right. You're so right. Great point.
Stopped the fight because he didn't want to. He already knew what was going to keep going down the line, and he didn't want to see his son getting beat. And then you have Gabriel Flores' father, who did the complete opposite.
Yeah, great point.
Well, I mean, Derek James is not Errol Spencer's father. However, this man was taking a serious beatdown from, again, Terrence Crawford, and just kind of let it go. And, Errol may not be the same after that.
Yep, that's true. That's so true.
Definitely should have been stopped.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely should have. So, and then we go on to the controversial or not, decision between Ramos and Lubin. And I'm going to start with you, Crystal. How did you see the fight, and did the right man get his hand raised?
I hate to say it, I do believe the right man get his hand raised. Okay. First of all, I think Ramos was doing the most in the beginning of those rounds. Then he gave up. And I hate to use those terms. Perhaps that is not correct terms. But
he started coasting. We'll say that.
Right. Corner is telling him, you ahead, you ahead. And if you're listening to the commentators, they also saying this lad is just taking over.
Yeah.
There's no truth in that. Wow, there was no sense of urgency there. And the lad stopped throwing his hands. You cannot win a fight when you stop throwing your hands. You have to throw your hands. Have to. So I think Lubin, he deserved a win or a draw. Either way, I will be fine with it. I do think it was close because I don't see a lot from Lubin either. So Lubin stopped throwing his hands. He basically spar him with a jab and he get a win.
Yeah.
But I don't see what I need to see from Ramos that night in particular either.
Right.
So
it was not clear enough. Yeah. Nika, what did you think? Did you think the right man had his hand raised?
I'm kind of agree with Crystal, to be honest, because we were all discussing it in the chat during the fight, right?
Yeah.
We were just like, why isn't he throwing his hands? Like,
yeah.
Ramos just like, he just let off the gas the second half of the fight, and he was not busy enough to, in his own words, he left it up to the judges, you know, and it didn't go in his favor. So I feel, I mean, I kind of probably would have been happier with the draw, to be honest. I don't know if Lubin was a clear winner to me, so I feel like it was more so a draw. But I do feel like Ramos let up off the gas and just was not busy enough. And I don't know what the judges were looking for, but he just didn't look busy enough for everybody to be up in arms about him not getting the call. So
Right. Sportsnista, do you agree or do you have a different take?
Yeah, I actually don't have. I think that Lubin won the fight because he outpointed him. But going back to Ramos's previous fight, he had that convincing win against Joey Spencer, and he was rewarded.
Which was great. Yes.
Right. He was rewarded to be the co-main. And at first I was kind of like, why is Ugas and Barrios not the co-main in this? But so you had Ramos as the co-main, and there's levels to this. Lubin in his corner had much more experience, kind of at a higher level of kind of visibility on a card to understand you've got to fight as long as that bell keeps ringing. Listening back to Ramos's corner, they're like, you winning. There was no, not just a sense of urgency, but there was no coaching going on. Continue this. What's working? What's not working? He was not actually boxing this dude past the 7th round because they believe it was done. And that's it where like there is levels to this comes into play. You need to have experience, not just from your fighter, but people in your corner need to know freaking better, not to say some mess like that to a fighter. Derek James, because I went back to the media room maybe around round 8 of the main event between Canelo and Charlo. And Derek James asked Jamel, he was like, what do you want to do? And Mel was like, I want to win. Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of other things that happened after that. But he was kind of, you know, let him know, like, dude, you're losing this fight. And so at least the fighter can choose, you know, do you have a sense of urgency here? Can you be competitive? Ramos was not hurt. It wasn't like he needed to, like, coast or he was protecting a broken hand or anything. None of that was happening. It was bad decision-making based off of a lack of experience happening in that corner.
Yep, that's true. You know, I agree that I thought I got a lot of shit on another show because I thought, you know what, Lubin did look more impressive and I thought he won too. But I would have accepted a draw. Yeah. I would have accepted a draw. I really, because yes, what was his coach doing saying, you know, you're up, what did he say? You're up 6, you know, and it's like, I don't care if you're up 10. I don't care. You don't coast, you finish it. Like it's the first round.
Christine, when have you ever heard a coach like say something like that? Usually be like, keep doing what you're doing. This is working, whatever.
Exactly.
Not like you won.
No, I mean, no. And he let
off
off the gas.
Job,
so when they first started, I was like, okay, I see what Ramos is doing. See, I'm thinking strategy. I see what he's doing. Like, I mean, he's touching the body. He's gonna break him down. He's breaking the body down first. Then he's gonna like take him out up top. Like he's got this, you know. And then I was like, what the hell? So Lubin, he was throwing a lot of shots. Yes, he was on the ropes. He was running around. People thought he was running. He was on his bike or whatever. But he looks busier. You know, I mean, Ramos, how many jabs did he throw? You know, he wasn't throwing jabs. He wasn't setting anything up. And so I was, when I saw the Spencer fight, that was the first time that I really paid attention to Ramos. And actually, Nike and I were blessed enough to interview him. He's a great guy. And I admitted to him, like, I had seen you before, but I was not really, like, it was just like, you know. But then when I saw him against Joey Spencer, because I had seen Joey in the amateurs, I was like, okay, this guy right here. And I had I had talked to D Styles on a show, and he's in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, everybody in the chat. Thank you. Please hit the like button. And I had said, and he had said too, and I agreed that he was going to be the next face of Mexican boxing. Like he was, it seemed like that's where they were trying to put him, and you know, with this fast pace. And now it's like, now what? Like what?
He did look better in a loss though than Lubin did in a win. Like I feel like he's got more growth
that I agree with.
Than, I mean, Lubin is who we think he is, you know. But I feel like Ramos actually can show us a little bit more, and hopefully they learn from this, and we get a better showing out of him the next time. Because I do think that PBC believes in this guy.
Right.
We're going to see him again.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. He's really young. What, he's like 20, 21.
Yeah, he's young, so it's like the one loss is not the end of it for him, so he can.
No, it's not.
He still
Recover
like
from this.
Similac, like that.
Yeah.
He's still young.
Right. Yeah, he can resurrect from this for sure. Now Lubin, you know what? I'm happy for him, because where else is he gonna go? Like this, I believe, you know, much respect to Lubin, but he's at the top of the mountain right now, and I just don't believe he's gonna go any higher. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
What do you think about what in his post fight interview, how he kept saying how everybody thought he was a gatekeeper or whatever, and you know he
will continue
said that like
to
4 or
be.
5 times. He was stuck on that.
And that is due to the prior press conference, right? Because someone say he is the gatekeeper. But I think if we face reality, he will continue to be a gatekeeper. I
think that bothered him, and he believed it in his head, and that's what he was fighting, because he that's all he was harping on after the fight. Everybody kept saying I'm the gatekeeper.
Yeah, I agree.
But this win will perhaps give him a little bit of confidence and come back into the ring, and he will think that he can get some belts again.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, that's
Rambo
true.
is still around. I mean,
yeah.
What you got in that cup, Christy?
Oh gosh, I'm in camp. I have a sparkling lemonade.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretending with my cherry cup.
See,
oh my gosh!
He saw Lubin as a gatekeeper.
But I will say this:
absolutely not.
He had a badass T-shirt, the Lucha Libre, and I ordered one.
Oh.
Whether he would have won or lost, I ordered the shirt before he even walked on the stage, because that shirt is badass.
It was dope. And you know what? Barrios's kit, his walkout kit, was fire too. It was done by JR. I got my own back. Like, really dope.
Yeah, no, it really was. It really was. So if y'all don't have anything else to say about that fight, let's go to the main event. We've already talked about the ring walk, and some of us thought it was fire, and some of us didn't.
And
it's okay.
I keep hearing that in my head.
Exactly. But we can all agree that he can do whatever he wants. So whatever he decides to walk in, he wants to walk in with a banjo player. He's good. He's all right. So before the fight, you know, Charlo was talking a lot of shit. You know, you never been in the ring with me, and this and that. I'm gonna do this, and you thought it was gonna be my brother, but it's me, and this and that, and blah blah blah. Sportsnista, were you expecting what happened, or were you highly disappointed?
No, it's on the left. I want to show you guys something. It's on the door.
Oh
On the
yes,
door.
yes. Show
On the
us.
door. Left side, other side, all the way top. There's a can all the way top. Yep, bring it to me. So I feel like Canelo really needed to have a dominant performance because people forgot. You know, he's been out of the ring for a while. Thank you, sweetie. Been out of the ring for a while, and he had to kind of get the rust off a bit because ring rust is a thing. He had the hand injury, had it repaired. And I just believe Canelo is who we think he is right now. He's at kind of like the top of his peak, like about to look down the mountain. But still at 168 until he fights David Benavidez, he's king of the mountain right now. Was it a great performance by him? No, it was efficient. I think there's a difference between like great and efficient. He did what he needed to do. And I also think that he addressed the rumors of his cardio. You know, how was his endurance? But he didn't have to do a whole lot. They featured one punch in the first round.
Right.
You know? But I was asking my daughter to grab something out of the refrigerator for me. Canelo, when he first came to Las Vegas, he was, 24 years old, fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Had all those amateur fights and had potential. Now, when he comes back to Las Vegas, he's a businessman. He's a brand. He is Canelo. So he came back with VMC. What does it stand for? I forgot. Something. Y'all can Google that. My eyes ain't so good either, so I can't.
Yes, I was wondering
Viva Mexico,
about that.
cabrones.
Yes. Yes. That's what it stands for. But he came heavily promoting it. You could see this this logo all over.
I saw that everywhere. Okay.
They were giving it out. I have not had any yet. I need to have an occasion. I'll
let us know.
That often. But like, you know, my daughter's giving me this thing. I like she grown, like she can tell me when and what I can do. Like, going somewhere. I'm like, you're not. What are you talking about? So, but so now he's like a real brand. And when we went into that media room, I have not seen that much media for any fighter all year. It is Canelo who brings all of those milkshakes to the yard. So if you want to know who's a superstar in boxing, I'm looking at gait, I'm looking at coverage, and I'm looking at actual outcome and ability. Canelo is the only dude who consistently does that in a meaningful way. Like, y'all can argue about Tank all day, but Canelo has like the belts that matter.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not even
Canelo the face for
Tank,
sure.
like, you know, it's real. And Canelo carries a country.
Yeah.
But
For
do we
sure.
have Canelo fatigue? Are people a little bit fatigued of Canelo? Like, does he need to fight David Benavidez next for any of this to matter? Like, who would keep paying to see this man like bust up somebody who's like a level, like 2 divisions below him?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I do, and we'll definitely talk about David Benavidez. We will. Nika, did you think that it was going to go the way that it did, or did you think that Charlo was going to be a little bit of a lion, at least a couple of rounds?
I knew it was gonna go just like that, and that's why I feel like Charlo was being nicer in this press conference run leading up to the fight, because he was trying to soften the blow of the ass whooping that he was gonna get, because you know he always talks shit, but this time around he was just talking a little bit of shit. He was very subdued and very polite, you know, I'm just happy to be here type thing, and you know, it was probably to soften the blow of what he already knew Canelo was gonna do, and that's why he was trying to dodge it all he could on Saturday. It went exactly the way I thought it was gonna go. Exactly.
It seemed weird, like that whole vibe of that whole camp, like they just seemed a little bit disconnected to me. And I don't have any like thing concrete to point it to, but I just know like that energy just felt weird.
Do you think that it was the pressure because of the Errol Spence loss?
For Derek, I mean, or for like, the camp in general, like perhaps,
Oh, yeah.
they could feel like, they had something to prove coming out. But even in the post-fight press conference, Derek James said nothing. Now, it is not that people asked him anything either, but he was pretty like quiet all throughout the week. Like, wasn't big up in his fighter all that much. Like, and there was no hype man. They all got a hype man. Like, there was no mouthpiece walking around for Charlo at all.
At all.
It's usually Charlo. He's usually his own mouthpiece, but he was quiet this go around, and I feel like it was pretty much
which was definitely weird.
Yeah.
Crystal, what did you think? Did you think that the line was going to come out at least for a minute, or did it go the way you thought it was going to be?
At least for a minute.
So I think he went into the press conference prior to the fight as a cub, and he come out a cub. He have no growth in this fight for me. So this is the vibe I get. Do you recall when Caleb Plant fight Canelo, and in the corner after the fight, he said to Canelo, "Not too bad," or something to that effect, right?
During the fight.
That was during the fight, yeah.
I don't do so bad, right? Something like that. I get the vibe from Mr. Charlo, like, oh, he didn't knock me out. See, I can make it through the fight.
Yeah.
That was horrible, by the way.
Those vibes that you give to me tell me, where's that dog in you they always speak of, you know?
Or the
Where's
lion.
the dog? Where's that lion? Whatever it is, I don't care. Where that? What happened to it?
Yeah.
The problem is you got all these businessmen fighting now. Like, they're businessmen. I think the fans are owed some boxers now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which brings me to my next question. And we'll start with Nika. Did he fight for a paycheck, or did he really feel like he was going to beat Canelo?
To me, it looked like he just fought for a paycheck. It didn't look like he was trying to beat Canelo. It just didn't. I didn't see like the hunger. I just didn't see. I didn't see it. So, and that's my opinion. So you guys can get mad if you want to. I don't care. So.
Yeah, we don't care. We're going to state our opinion on this show.
Give me crack corn and I don't care.
Right. We're all entitled. Sportsnista, was he fighting for a paycheck, or did he really think he was going to do something?
No, I believe that he thought that he was going to win, and I think it just became apparent to him that he was outmatched. But when Derek James asked him, "What do you want to do?" I think they both understood that, like, whatever's happening here is not in our favor. And so it just felt like exasperation. At a certain point, they were just like, yo, we can't, it's not much else that we can do. And it saddens me a bit, because I don't, you don't want to see people come out of there with catastrophic injuries like Ugas was terrible.
Right.
But I also think that, the fans, for what they pay, are owed a championship style effort.
Well, and I want to ask you about that. So whenever he asked him, what do you want to do? So was he asking so that he could build some kind of confidence in him and in Charlo and himself? Or did he want the fans and everybody around to know what they were going to do? Like, when he asked the question, what was the context?
He said to him flat out, "You're losing this fight. You're losing this fight. So what do you want to do?" So I don't think Derek was asking him, like, should I throw in the towel? It was just like, dog, you're going to have to show me something. You ain't really that hurt. You just being outboxed out here. Because he had moments. And actually, early on, I did not like the range for Canelo. I felt like he was right at the end of Charlo's jab. And that could have been a very dangerous position for him. But he handled it well, because it was just no combinations being thrown. It was a 1, maybe a 1-2 here and there.
I don't know what round this was, but there was one round that you heard this punch from Canelo. It sounded like a cannon, and they didn't replay it in the playback. And I gotta go back and see what round it was. It sounded like a cannon that hit his body.
Yes, so true.
Look at that. Yeah.
So
That
true.
was a body shot to the stomach, no?
Yes, I was like, what the fuck was that? I don't know what
Yeah.
and
That hurt,
they
and I-
didn't replay it. They didn't replay it for some reason. When they ran
Yeah,
back
they
the
didn't.
highlights of that round, they didn't replay that one because you could hear that punch. It was
I
crazy.
feel from that point forward, Charlo
Yes.
decided, I'm not fixing to win this fight. I
Yeah.
just want to survive.
Right, exactly. And so I want to ask you,
But I'm
Crystal,
mad at it though. Like if you're getting paid 15 mil, be like, all right, I could either get a busted orbital
right,
over here.
you need to take a chance.
Yeah.
Crystal, was he there for a paycheck then? Do you think he was there for a paycheck, or was he thinking he could do something?
I think it was a settle for a paycheck. After he get in there, he feel the power and he say, oops,
Yeah.
what did I get my club stuff
My
into?
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So, Sportsnista, I want to go back to what you were saying. So you were saying that during the fight, Derek James is like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some criticism, and I'm going to get some criticism, but I really don't care. So as a coach myself, I'm going to not ask my boxer what he should do or is going to do. I'm going to tell him what the fuck he needs to do.
Yep.
I'm going to give some real hard instructions. Okay, that's my take on it.
Yep.
So what were your thoughts when you heard that, Sportsnista?
That's
Should
what I'm
Derek
saying.
have been
They
asking him, or
They-
should
I
he have been
mean-
telling him?
If you want to ask him, like, hey, what do you want to do? Well, if you say that you want to win, here's, step one. Like, do that this round. Come back the next round. We building on that. But if you just listen to them, they just both felt exasperated. Like,
Yeah.
man, we got 12 more minutes.
Right.
We gotta be fresh
could
and we
see it.
on.
They're the longest 12 minutes in the
Yes.
world.
And that's what I felt like. Derek James has had an interesting year, right? He went from being the trainer of the year, then you get Anthony Joshua and all the baggage that comes with that, and then the Errol Spence, like it's complete shock to the system. And I really believe that, like, at a certain that kind of loss, like as a trainer and as a friend, you could feel grief. Like he could really be grieving. A part of that career, a part of that experience based on how that went down. It was complete shock to the system.
Absolutely.
And
I
there was
agree.
no time to like breathe in that space. He had to
Right.
just keep going and going. And then you have like the biggest superstar in the entire boxing universe in front of you, in front of your dude who is not ready for this.
Yeah.
But you got to get out there because you ain't no punk.
I mean,
I feel at
would
this
I
point,
have said
Derek
no,
James,
or would I have looked like a fool? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So Nika, what is the role of a coach? Do you ask your guy what's he gonna do, or do you tell your guy what's he gonna do?
I mean, you're supposed to tell them that's his job, but essentially, whatever plan they had, plan A, plan B, and plan C, it was not going to work.
They didn't have no B and C.
They
had
said
A.
whatever
Plan A was the
plan
move.
from A to Z, none of those
A
plans
was
going to work.
it.
It was not going to work.
Yeah.
Whatever they had in the bag, it was not going to work. So
Mel said
Canelo
that
said
the
it.
plan
Canelo-
was to
you're
move,
going to
but I'm
find
like,
out.
move? Like,
Yeah.
run? Like, you was going to be on your bike? Like, what do you mean the plan was to move?
He was there to survive.
Right.
After a while, he was just there to survive and make it through to the 12th round. So
Yeah, exactly.
do I even think that he cares that we talking about it?
Hell
No.
no.
As soon as that money hit his bank account,
But you know what? We're gonna go back to that because I do want to talk about that. Crystal, what is the coach supposed to do? Do you ask your fighter what's he gonna do, or you tell him what he's gonna do?
as he coach, you already know what he want to do. He want to win. Because
Right.
I want to win. He want to win.
You do that before, when you sign the contract, right? That's already like agreed. Like you want to win, right?
Absolutely. So we don't stop giving direction in the corner. We continue to give the direction, even though
To win.
right, even though we may feel at some point he is not capable, but we continue to give him that direction so that he do follow the plan that was already in place prior to the fight.
Yep. Exactly.
That's Derek.
Um,
JBZ says Derek James doesn't know what a Pampy is.
Well, to be fair,
Well, Cliff,
listen, Derek
It's-
James at
it's
this
true.
point in 2023, he go home after this fight and he say, "What the hell have I gotten myself into?"
But you know, I agree with Sportsnista. Like it's sad, it's it's like, what do you do? So yes, I agree. You have your paycheck and this and that, but you know what? You have to open your front door. You have to open up social media. You have to watch the news. You have to see all the memes. You know, it's like Derek James right now is getting trashed, and so is Charlo. But you know what? They had no problem doing that to Bomac. And people have not had any problem doing that to Bomac now that he's in this situation. It's part of it.
let him know.
You got to take the good with the bad.
But I think Derek is still an excellent coach. You know, and I think every professional at this level has to go through an adjustment period. It's crazy that it would happen after the year prior that he had. But I mean, I'm not going to shit on, like, you know, his ability.
Right.
I think that what went down last weekend and the month before that was very surprising to see. And I'd like to see him bounce back. Let's see what else he got. And then how you grow. Because if this is how you leave it, then this is who you are.
Well, and it's very interesting that you say that. So I see the point that you're making. So, and I'm not saying that this is a situation. I'm just saying things that have been said and people that whatever.
I want to talk about it, but like, here go.
So you've heard fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So, you know, there's people that we fake it till we make it. Not me, but other people. You fake it till you make it. And then once you get on the mountaintop and you can't fake it anymore because now you're truly being tested, what do you do? So a lot of people are saying, you know what? You were very lucky. This is the shit that happened and kudos to you. But now you're at the top of the mountain and you got these top of the line dogs in your stable. And you're not doing what we thought you could do with them, you know? And a question that I raised on another show, and I want to ask you ladies is, what in the hell was Ryan Garcia thinking when he saw Charlo getting dogged? We'll start with you, Crystal. What do you think Ryan Garcia was thinking?
It's hard telling. This lad like to jump from person to person, trainer to trainer, promo to promo. He want to be with the best because he want to train with the best because he want to be a best. He do it on the social media and he prove it. I'll give him that 100%.
Yes.
Where did he go from here? I don't know. Ryan Garcia to me is not impressive in the ring. That's just my personal opinion.
He needs to sell like some Disney t-shirts, cologne.
Fight
The
an
last one that he
influencer,
was
like,
with.
you know, go fight Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Dude, let me tell you though, that fight would make gazillions of freaking money.
Oh, for
Garcia,
sure. Non-boxing fans would buy that.
Yeah.
With girls, young girls all over the world would buy that just to see him in the ring. You know?
That's eventually gonna happen. They're working on it. They're all friends, and he has a lot of friends in the YouTube community who are content creators.
Yes.
So he already has a plan outside of boxing. Like
Everybody remembers
all boxing,
Sportsnista. It was her idea first, so give her the credit. Give her some money.
Joe Goosen trained him the last fight, right?
Yes.
Joe say, Ryan, don't listen to me. Ryan, get into the ring and Ryan do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I don't say
I've seen it.
We won't see nothing different with Mr. James and Mr. Garcia together.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, think of the irony of that. So he's there as part of the Derek James stable, and who's the trainer on the other side?
Yeah, exactly.
The dude that he
exactly. Who had his little short fall from grace, and now, you know, yeah, absolutely. So you know, I was thinking in my mind because, you know, at first Ryan walked in there with his shades and it's like, you know, he looked like he's from the 90s, you know, and I don't want anyone to recognize me, but I really do. And I've got shades on, and it's inside. And, you know, and then like towards the end of the fight, like his sunglasses come off.
Right.
And
He's like,
he's
really?
just
Like, I gotta see this shit now.
like, what the hell? I came over to this camp with this trainer. What the hell have I gotten myself into?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was just like to myself, I mean, I had memes going on in my head. But he's got a fight in December against Oscar Gerardo. Hold on, Nika. You just came back. So what do you think that Ryan was thinking during the fight? Because you saw his face. You saw the shades on, looking all cool and chill, and then the shades coming off. What was your thoughts? What was he thinking?
To be honest, I don't know, because I feel like Ryan, you know, he's not stable in his choices that he makes. So, you know, he's a flip-flopper. He'll go here and go in there. So I really don't know what he probably was thinking. Like, damn, there's a lot of L's that we're taking over here in this camp over here.
You have to,
do
right?
I want to
The
be the
pressure's
next L?
Processing that.
Do I want to be the next L? You know, there's a pattern going on over here. You know, so
But
I don't know.
especially like
He might be enjoying his. It looks like he's enjoying his camp or whatever he's learning over there, because he's posting a lot of it. He looks like it, but you know, they only post what looks good to the, you know, to the public. So I don't know. But,
you gotta be processing it, like especially like
L's going on. A lot of L's.
And like humbled by the fact, like you a year ago was in Canelo's locker room. And not only that you're not there, you've been disinvited.
Right.
And like, it's kind of like being.
And he whooping your stableman's ass in front of you.
Right. And it's like seeing your ex who, like, you know, is now like winning.
He won the lotto.
Right. It's like, wait a minute, my ex made a come up, like she got new booty and everything.
Right. Hey, that could have been me. Yeah, exactly. You're right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, he's thinking, what the hell have I done? You know, seriously.
It's gotta be a lot of thoughts going through his head for sure, though. For sure.
Because, you know, also the pressure. To me, the mental pressure, like, okay, the top dogs in the stable have just lost. Not have they only lost, but they lost miserably, like clearly wiped out. Now I'm the next man up. Like, tag, you're it.
I don't really think that, because I'm a fan of Ryan. I don't really think that he's really too scared to take an L, and that's why he did. You know, I don't think.
But is he scared to take an ass whooping?
Gonna be Tank, to be honest. I'm just.
His next opponent, we're gonna talk about him. He's no. He's not
he definitely got competition here. That's why I don't feel like Ryan wants any like easy taps or anything like that, or you know, and he's not scared to take a L. So
the thing about Ryan at this point, he already have an L.
Yeah, so he's still going, and he came. That's what my thinking was. Like after the fight with Tank, it was either gonna be two things. He was either gonna like be depressed and not want to fight no more, and you know, a lot of thinking, or you just dust yourself off, keep it moving, and go on to the next. And that's what he did. So that's why I was happy that it worked out that way. So
Al the pal said he took a knee. Real Mexicans don't do that. You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
I mean, but you know, you take a knee and then you get back up to get knocked out by Tank. I don't know.
Well, he's got a fight coming up in December against Oscar Gerardo, who's 26-1 with 21 KOs. He fought a guy that I've worked with before, Alex Martin, and the guy is no pushover. The only thing that I could see as a flaw in this guy is he's a little flat-footed, but you know, everything else, he's got good defense, which Ryan does not. His combos, he's throwing 4 and 5 punches at a time. He's strong. He's got a nice right hand, nice lead hand. I'm like, this is gonna be a fight. And I don't know if I would have picked him for my comeback, but you know, they know what they're doing, obviously. Does anybody else know anything about his opponent?
I saw the same clip of the fight that you're talking about, but I don't really know too much about him. But that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure Ryan did his homework on the guy too, so he knows this guy is not no pushover, and like it's not an easy fight for him. So you know, I'm a fan of Ryan.
Tank. Tank is not a light fighter, right? Tank is a good lad in the ring.
Yeah.
So a loss to Tank is not the end of the world.
No.
So he should be able to come in here at some medium to higher level boxes and put on a show. If Ryan
without
is
a weight,
yeah,
without the rehydration clause, he can actually be like the full fighter that he
for sure. That's true. And I'm sure that they already know that they're not going to have that clause. They've already done everything they need to be. So as putting yourself in Derek James' shoes, we're just going to go back to that for a second.
I don't want his shoes on.
Right?
Who's his number 2? Who's Derek's number 2?
Yeah. It's like what goes through your head? Like what, because look, it's very obvious. We don't have to you don't have to be a coach or a trainer or even anybody that has their hands in boxing to listen to the corner and see that there's never been real instruction in the corner and there's never been plan B or C. It's like, I think it's great. And I talked about this on Monday with D-Style, where it's great. He talked about it as well too. It's great to be confident and be like, no, my guy's going to win. We have one plan and one plan only, and it's going to work. It's great to be confident, but you always have to have those adjustments. You know, it's what goes through your head. What do you change? What do you not change? Or is it like, no, my way, it's my way, and that's the way it is? What
recognize real, right? And when, this last week when Charlo was being the professional, Canelo was calling that shit out. Like, he wasn't saying that last year when he was calling me out. He was talking about all these flaws and everything. So let's see that. But go back to when Terrence Crawford fought Sean Porter. And Bomac said, you down. And Terrence was like,
what happened?
I'm down? Bet.
Hell no.
Bo, and Bo was like giving him some instructions on what you need to go back to, and that, and then the fight ended very quickly thereafter. That's why it's like, when you talk about real champs, real dogs, is that mentality that's the difference. Not so much the skills. It's the mentality, because they can go to that dog level. And and you can't coach that. No. A gal or a guy gotta have it. And them coaches, you know who got it.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I will say this. I will say this too. So obviously I've worked with some dogs. We have dogs up here. And then I'm working with and have worked with those that are like clay. Anything that you tell them to do, they will do it. So even a good student of the game, even if you don't have that kill in you, but you have the will to win, and whatever the coach says, because they trust you, they're going to do, they will win a fight, and they do. And so that's the thing. It's like you're in I've said it before, when you're in the corner, you're getting hit and you're down, or even if you're up, you are in the most vulnerable state. You can barely think. Okay. So you need that coach to give you simple instruction, whether it be, slip to the right, throw your right hand, or he's looping his left hand, so roll and come over with a left hook, whatever it is. You have to give simple instruction to what is going on at the time, because they can't think.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, if you're just like, do your thing, walk him down, do what you do you. What does that mean? You know,
Right.
that's
That
the
irritates
thing.
me.
So I don't, that's all I got to say on it. But, you know, I'm very curious to see how this fight's going to go because Oscar's no pushover and Ryan is daring to be great, which I think is awesome.
Daring to be great. Define that. How he daring to be great?
Well, the reason why I say he's daring to be great in his mind, not mine, is because he feels like he is now with the best trainer. So he's daring to be great with, in his mind, the best trainer. And he feels as though whatever magic and whatever he can receive, you know, from being in this camp and from this coach, it's going to pour upon him. And then he's going to be a champion. Well, that was before the 2 losses that just happened. So that's why I'm wondering what the mental state is going to be. And I make no jokes because trust me, I have anxiety and depression, everything else, you know, like many people. And I know he had a bout of that too. So I'm just wondering, what is he doing? Up here, we have sports psychologists. And I'm wondering, does he have a sports psychologist? Does he have someone that can talk him through things? You know, which I think is very important.
Is he willing to listen though to someone?
Yeah, because
with
Goosen
that
said he don't listen, so it's like
he's a
listen.
diva. He is a diva. I've been around him several times. He is definitely a diva. And you're right. I wonder, will he listen? There's many boxers like that do not listen. They run their show. And that's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah, so it don't matter what trainer you have. If you don't listen, then
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. So I'm curious to see how it goes and where he goes from here. But before we head towards the end of everything, what are some of the fights that are coming up that y'all are really curious to see? Crystal, what are you thinking? What are some fights or a fight? Because I know my pick that you want to see.
So I definitely want to see Haney Progre.
Okay.
This is one fight I want to see.
I'm gonna try
only
to go to
because
that. Let's try to go.
that one is in the Arizona, right?
I don't think so.
Or is it in the California?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah, I think it's in San Francisco.
Okay. So the other one is this Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez.
Is that like next week or in 2 weeks? That's coming up, right?
I think in November.
In November.
Oh, is that the week that's the week before the Progre, right?
I'm not sure. I have to look at the dates. I don't recall.
Okay,
But either way, those two fights I want to look at. Shakur on the 16th of November. I am a Shakur fan, and I wish to see it. I'm not sure I'll be there. I have a little bit of
It's a freaking
interference
Thursday night on F1 weekend in Las Vegas. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get to.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have like 3 weeks off in November, so I'm trying to. Okay.
Yeah. So the other one coming up on the 14th, you know, I love to see the BMB boxers, the Keyshawn, he brother,
Yes.
TV3, I should say.
Yes.
And Troy Isley, those lads on the top rank card. I could care less about the main event with Janibek. I know it is a unification.
That's like by Houston, I think.
Yes, on the 14th of October.
Yeah, I'll be flying to Chile. Yeah.
I won't be able to go there, but I do want to see those fights. So I wishfully the fight I have to attend that day will be over prior to those fights starting.
Okay. So Sportsnista, what are some fights you're looking forward to?
Well, definitely Shakur Stevenson. I think that the dudes in and around that division are trying to Terrence Crawford him and just wait it out and hopefully he either ages out of boxing or like moves up in a weight class and they ain't got to worry about him no more. But I think he is actually the best in his division. And once we actually get the real matchups, we're going to see that. So anytime Shakur is fighting, like I'm excited to see that. I am I'm also happy to see that Jamel Herring is coming back. I wish him well. Whatever it is that Jamel want to do, I just hope he be healthy coming out of that. So definitely rooting for that dude. I will say that I am highly disappointed that we're not getting a women's fight on these cards. Showtime gave us 12 freaking fights last weekend. 12, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And not one women's match. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. I think these sanctioning bodies got to like chirp up now and make sure we at least get one on these major cards. Like if you can pay 12, 24 of them dudes, you can put 2 women on them cards instead.
Agree.
It's very frustrating to see it that DAZN and Eddie Hearn is the only one consistently doing it. I know that Michaela is with Top Rank, but it's not consistent.
Right.
I was talking to Espinoza, and that was the one thing that I wish I would have had a conversation with him about. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's the first match being paid? What are you giving them? $5,000 to show, $5,000 to win? Like, you can't pay 2 women that amount. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that's my soapbox. So Shakur, Jamel, and I want to see more women on these cards.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Nika, what about you? What are some fights that you're excited about?
Well, all of those fights, and then I want to add in Usyk and Fury.
Yes.
Who you have in that one? Who you have in there? I know, Christine, you have the Fury.
You know me.
I'm gonna root for Usyk. I like Usyk, but Fury, as much as like people don't like him, he's a great fighter. So you can't really take that from him. So it is what it is. But that's gonna be a good one if it actually.
What about Sportsnista?
Oh, in that fight, I mean, I think Tyson Fury is the most talented heavyweight right now in boxing. I think Usyk gives him some problems, but how foul is it that you tease that fight when you ain't even fought Francis Ngannou yet? Remember this name, Otto Wallin, who almost messed up the entire Fury and Deontay Wilder bag. I remember Jorge Capetillo was like trying his best to like keep that cut, keep the ref from stopping that fight. I mean, Francis hits hard. He's a legit freaking heavyweight, not a legit boxer, but he could pose a problem to that fight. So to me, it depends on what happens in that Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou exhibition, whatever it is, that they call it for all the pirates' booty inside Saudi Arabia that they finna lift up out of that place. But it's hard to call that fight. I think Usyk gives him problems, but I mean, I gotta go with Tyson Fury as the heavyweight in that fight. Usyk ain't even no heavyweight.
Right. You know what? I agree with all the fights coming up. I really do. And also I have to also mention Micaiah Krebs, who will be on Jamal Harris's card, who I love her. But I am so excited. Like, juices are flowing for Tyson Fury and Usyk. Like, I get a lot of criticism because I love Tyson Fury. Crystal knows. She's like, I know. Yes, I love him. And I believe as much as I love Usyk, he's number 2 for me, that he's going to win. I just believe he's a seasoned veteran. He's talented and he knows a lot of tricks. Some dirty, some not, but hey, it's boxing, right? Hey, so I'm super, super stoked about the matchup.
You think it's happening? Like, where's the over under? Like,
man,
Tyson has never fought.
And I said if it actually happens, but they said it's a deal. So I don't know.
Please, God, I'm begging you, give it to us.
I just feel like one of the fights is not happening. Either he ain't fighting Francis or he ain't fighting Usyk.
Right.
We've not seen him. Although they said 2023, I don't believe that. 24 is more likely, like March, April. Like if they announce a date like in the spring, then I feel more comfortable. Like, okay, that fight is happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hope it does. So my final question, ladies, is so we heard that Canelo said that there are no talks at all to fight Terrence Crawford. So I'm not going to ask you who we think that Charlo should fight. I mean, Canelo should fight. Who can Bud possibly fight next that would be that we would be totally satisfied? And I'll start with you, Crystal.
Well, I'm fine with him fighting Charlo, honestly. Take the little brother, take the big brother, they twins, right? I don't care who.
Take them
Take
both at
one
the
of
same
them.
time.
Whichever one who want to fight. But
Yeah.
please don't come with the same cub attitude that he have with Canelo. I want to see him with the dog in him that he have with the Harrison #2 fight. This is
Yeah.
much better than the Charlo that he bring to fight Canelo. I really want to see it be competitive, right? Even
Yeah.
more so than Spence and Crawford. I don't think that rematch is happening. I don't think there's enough money there for it. If it do, okay, fine. But in the end, I do want Crawford to get that paycheck, because I think we will see a different fighter coming in to fight Canelo, and I think Crawford will still take it. I still give it to him
Yeah.
every day of the week.
Okay. All right. Sportsnista.
Yeah, I mean, does David Morrell have any belts?
No.
Yeah, so, I mean, he would be like my wild card. It's going to have to be like, little Charlo, because he still has
Yeah.
some of those belts. That's the only thing that makes sense. The
Yeah.
problem is the business side of it. I
Right.
don't think there's enough money for that fight. And as much as Steven Espinosa is selling wolf tickets about Showtime staying in boxing, they are going to go to just a pay-per-view for 2024, and it'll probably be just those two Canelo fights, and then they'd be out. So it remains to be seen where PBC is going to land with a broadcast partner. And I think that has everything to do with who we see Terrence Crawford fight next. So on the business side, on like the fun, like fight side of it all, of course, I want to see him fight Canelo. I want to see that in Allegiant Stadium. Those are the only two fighters outside of David Benavidez and Canelo who are going to be selling a stadium in the United States. Other than that, like, I just don't see it. But like, Bud got to get going. Like, we need to see him like very early, 2024.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this dude gonna be 38 years old, and even though he looked phenomenal, you just don't want that much of a layoff.
Yeah,
especially at that level. But listen,
You never
Terrence,
do.
right? Terrence could be fighting traffic, and I'm gonna want to see that fight.
Right. Same. Seriously. Exactly.
Mhm.
Nika, who do you want to see Bud in the ring with? Whose ass you want him to whoop?
Let me see. I don't know who I want to see him in there with. To be honest, it'd be funny to see maybe the fans have a meltdown again. So I kind of wanted him to fight Charlo next until I saw him fight Canelo this weekend. Then I'm just like, do I really want to see that fight?
Right.
So I'd rather him fight Canelo next than he could just like. I think he said it on Twitter. He's scratching him off his Charlo off his list because after what he saw with Canelo, it's not really, you're not giving me something that I want to fight for. So I want whatever Crawford wants to do because it's gonna be.
He's the man.
Yeah, so you get to call the shots or whatever he wants to do. That's what I want to see.
I tell y'all, it was super foul in the post-fight press conference that So what they did was they sent out an email and they said, if you're a writer on deadline, please come to the room. Otherwise, the rest of y'all can watch this on YouTube. I was no longer on deadline. I had filed my story, but all of my stuff was in that room. So I was going back in that
that's
room.
right, girl. With that red dress, you could go anywhere, honey.
But it was felt because a lot of the writers in there were like, this is going to sound like ageist, but it's just the freaking facts. Like there were a lot of older writers in there. I mean, like 65 plus, right? So you had different types of questions coming. Nobody asked this man what it was going to take for him to fight David Benavidez. They went to Terrence. As soon as he said Terrence was no longer part of the plan, they were asking just like some random ass questions that just weren't like boxing history type questions that you would expect from those type of folks. Like somebody, and like I couldn't get the mic. And so, I mean, that was my question is like, what's it going to take for you to fight David Benavidez, right? I mean, that's the only question.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else needs to ask nothing but that. Because if you're not fighting that dude next, what is we doing?
That's true. You're right. Really, that's the only guy that he can really fight next. Really. I mean, and as far as Bud, it's like, I wouldn't mind watching him, whoop Mel. And I'm sorry, D-Style, Tim Zoo too.
What if he fights both of them? Like big Charlo and little Charlo?
Let's go. Line them up one at a time. Give them their little paychecks. But it would give us some satisfaction. But honestly, I mean, I'm going to get criticism for this too from some people. Like if he fought Canelo, I really and truly believe that he would win. I do.
At 168?
What'd you say?
At 168, yeah.
Yes, I do. You know why? You know why I believe it? Because he believes it. And anything that he believes, he does.
It's facts, yeah.
So that's why I believe it. Definitely. So ladies, it has been such a pleasure. And before we go, I want to go around and give last words and where can people find y'all? And D-Style says if Bud fights King Kong, Christine has Bud winning all day. Hey, if he believes he's going to win, he's going to win, honey. King Kong going in the ocean. Just saying.
Mom for coming.
Just saying. I'll start with you, Crystal. Crystal, last words. Where can people find you?
Oh, typically in the Midwest on a regular day. Or any Bud fight, I'll be there. And hopefully we go out to Jamel Herring fight. I do want to support that lad in his venture out there. Other than that, I'm on the Twitter, I'm on the Instagram. I don't have the TikTok. Eventually, I will try to understand that one. But every Wednesday, we're right here. We're not going nowhere. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you to the chat. And we see you soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sportsnista, last words, and where can people find you?
So first of all, if y'all are following these women and watching what they do and supporting their content, keep doing that shit. Because what they're doing is not just having a conversation that's fun, but they're actually adding very valuable voices to the boxing landscape. So my soapbox is support women making boxing content, but specifically support these women. And then you can find me on Twitter talking shit at the Sportsnista, and then at the _ Sportsnista on Instagram. I also write for lvsportsbiz.com. I'm going to be heavily into the WNBA playoffs, starting tomorrow.
All right. All right. Love it. Naiko, last words. Where can people find you?
In my skin. No, you can find me on Twitter. I think it's boxing_bird or birdie. You know, when you get so many accounts, you got to remember this exactly. But on Instagram and YouTube, it's Knockouts with Nika. So, and you catch me here next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Well, no, not same time. Same time. It'll probably be 9.
Yeah, tonight we were
PM
just a little bit later.
Yeah, we
but
were
that's okay.
later this time. And I do. Remy asked me if I have a red dress. I do. You know I have a red dress, Remy. Come on, what lady doesn't have a red dress, man? And thanks for Sportsnista for hopping on tonight with us and the chat as always with great questions and great comments. You know, so we appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's that.
Yes. Thank you all so much to my girls. Thank you, Sportsnista, for everything. Please, every Monday, the new venture that I have with D Styles, Box Topics. It's just we concentrate on one topic and we kill it. And I got a lot of hate the last one, and I'm so happy because you know what that means? Finally, I'm making waves. Yes. So I appreciate it so much. And every Wednesday, me and the girls, we're doing the damn thing. I appreciate you all. We love the chat and everybody that commented, everybody that shared and liked. We love to love you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Peace out.